I'm dying, and I don't know how long I have left to live. No, I'm not lying. It's not a joke. A lot of people don't know, but the reason I did close my gym was because I'm dying. And when I realized it, like, my heart skipped a beat. I didn't know what to do. I didn't know what to say, who to tell. It was this realization that made me think of the things that I want in life, and things that other people, like things that you want. Like, well, what would you do? Like, what would you do if someone told you that you were dying and you didn't know how long you had left to live? Like, who would you apologize to? Who would you talk to? What would you cut out of your life? What would you remove? What would you go after? What would you achieve? Like, what would you do? And the answers aren't even like perfect for me. Like, I don't even know if there's a definitive specific thing I would do, but I do know that I changed. Like, I changed direction of what I was doing in my life. And I mean, for me, it's something where I think that people need to hear my story, needed to hear my life, because I want you to have something. Like, what are the things that we do in our lives that are different when we realize we're dying? When you realize that you don't have a lot of life left to live, like when you don't realize that you have these things in your heart that are stirring the potential to do these amazing and great things in your life, and you're not always going after them, like wholeheartedly, full bore going after these things. You know, what do you do at that point in your life? What do you change? So the true question is if you had all these things in your heart, all this potential inside you, all these dreams and aspirations to achieve, to do, to help, to be, what would you do if someone told you were dying and you didn't know how long you had left to live? Well, guess what? You're dying. You see, from the moment that we all got onto this planet, the progression forward with our life was going towards the grave. I mean, it's a morbid thing to think about, but it's the truth. From a child, the people that were involved in your life, from your mom, your dad, your friends, your brothers, your sisters, we all have these people in our lives that give us the support and the drive to go after and achieve and do so much amazing things. But really, we're all going towards the end destination. The same end destination. The things you have done in your life will only be remembered by those behind you. They're not going to be something you can do forever. And so at some point, your light will burn out. So when your light is going to burn out, it's simple question is, what do you want to be remembered for? What is something that when you leave this planet, the people that know you or knew you, when you leave, what do they remember you for? Not the smile and the hug, but like, is it just the brightness of who you are? Is it what you've achieved? Is it who you've become? Is it who you helped along the way? What are you going to be remembered for? Because if that question isn't burning your soul every day and you're going in this, arduous path towards something that doesn't feel like it makes you come alive, then what are you doing? Your life is not something to waste. There's some people who have nothing. The fact that you can watch this video right now tells me you have something. And the time it takes you to watch this video, the exact amount of time someone on this planet will pass. Somebody's gone, their light burns out. I'm not joking, it's a reality. Were they buried with a casket full of potential? Because if they go into the grave, they don't have something they've amassed and done in their life, then they've just wasted a life. One is beautiful and as capable as the one you have. So if you're a person that says, I want to be remembered for something, there's a few steps to get there. People hire me to teach them this, and when they do bring me onto their lives, the biggest thing that I do is step back and say, okay, what is it you want to be remembered for in life? What is the one thing that when you leave this earth, the people that love you, that know who you are, know of you, can say that's what that person was. I remember that about him. The first thing you got to do is you got to get to a point where you are fed up completely with what you are doing in your life. You have to get fed up with the situation you're in that you don't love. If you are not in love with it, it's got to go. It's a reality of it. If you got to get to a point where you are so tired of it that you put an emotion behind the fact that this has got to change. You got to get up, walk out somewhere and say, this is enough. I'm going to change something, because you need that emotion. You need the emotion to move forwards. The emotion alone won't carry you, but you need the emotion to get involved, to get invested. The next thing you got to do is you got to see yourself. Now, when I say see yourself, I mean see yourself. There's a study that was done, I don't know when it was done, but it was basically these people would go in to sit down in front of a sketch artist, and they would ask the person to describe themselves. Describe what you look like. The person took the audio and basically the words they spoke and they wrote them down. They had somebody else that person knew come in and describe what that person looks like as well. At the end, they got both these pictures and they showed them to the person. The person's own account of what they look like was usually an ugly, not very pretty person. Whereas the description from someone else was always a beautiful face, a beautiful person. See, the thing is, we don't see ourselves for who we are and what we have in us. We focus so heavily on the negative parts of who we are that we fail to see the things that we have, the things that we do want to do, the things that we do have within us, that we just kind of focus so heavily on the negatives. We don't focus on the positives. And there's a saying is, where your focus goes, your energy flows. So if you're focused on the negative parts of your person, your energy flows to the negative side. It's when you step back and say, I am great in these areas, you lift yourself up, your soul rides, and then you gotta get to a point where you find a dangling carrot. And when I say dangling carrot, I mean something that's an aspiration. I do not mean just a simple goal. I don't mean I wanna make $1,000 extra per month. I don't mean I wanna be a millionaire. I don't mean that. I mean a true vision for your life. An actual vision for what the end result for you is gonna be. Who are you with? Say you make $1 million. What are you gonna spend it on? Is it gonna be something that livens your life? Is it people around you? Is it to be healthy? Is it to be, happy? Is it to give charity, to give back to people? What is your purpose, really? Why are you here? You find that deep-seated dangling carrot, the purpose that you want to fulfill, and it drives you forward. Then you got to get a plan. See, what I found is most people, they don't have hope. And the reason they don't have hope is because they see the end. Like they can see, I know where I want to get to. I see my plans getting me there, but I don't see the clear-cut path. Like I don't have this direct, I'm gonna get there. So what happens is the hope for them being able to get there diminishes, and they diminish their desire to move forwards in the first place. So they just don't take any steps. When in reality, they're waiting for the perfect plan. There is no perfect plan. I recently heard a saying, and the saying was beautifully says, progress, not perfection. Think about that. I mean, you just got to get moving in the right direction. So your plan may not be perfect, but there's a plan in place. You create it, you can move, because you can never see what's around the bend if you don't take the first step. And around the bend, I mean, to get yourself to that far side of I'm going to go and see what's on the other side of there, but I got to start moving to get there in the first place. Once you get to this point where you have this plan in place, the biggest thing that you got to do is you got to get up off your butt. You got to get up. It's not a matter of waking up in the morning and say, I don't know, you just got to get up and start moving. Everybody gets to a point where they start making excuses as to why they can't do something. And I kid you not, I do it. I make horrible excuses, but you get to a point where the excuses you create for yourself are very convincing. The people around you would have no idea that they're made up stories, or that it's something that you really, you can overcome, but you just make a good excuse, and they give you clearance, right? You give yourself clearance to do the work, to not do the work. You give yourself the ability to step back and say, well, this is why I can't do it. Therefore, you excuse yourself from the work or the hard effort or the uncomfortable situation of going forth. What you don't realize is you're not excusing yourself from the work, you're excusing yourself from the success. You're excusing yourself from the opportunity to achieve that later on. An excuse is nothing more than a reason why you're not going to get where you want to get. Because I can give you a million excuses for something, but the truth of the matter is, when it's all said and done, no matter what, if I step back and look at a good excuse, bad excuse, whatever, it's an excuse, I'm still not where I want to be. I'm still not where my vision was supposed to take me to. My plan didn't get carried out. The first thing to do is to get up and start the process to going where you want to go. Because if you don't get up and start moving, you'll never get there. So choose to get up, because if you don't, you're not going to go in a beautiful direction for the life of what you can have. So I want you to decide today. I don't mean watch this video and tomorrow I'm going to put something in place. I mean literally right now, today, decide that this is the moment, this is the time that I'm going to shift everything in my life. Without that emotional base, that decision today, you're not going to go forwards. You cannot have a situation where you just kind of little bit involve yourself. And I'm going to do it at some point. Someday is not a day that exists. Today is the day. You've got to take a point for yourself. Step in and say, I'm capable, I'm doing these great things, because what happens is, if not, you wake up tomorrow and you start living this expected life. Tomorrow you are expected to get up, do X, do Y, do Z, you're gonna be wherever that tells you to be. The truth of the matter is, the positive part of life that you want to experience is gonna take you doing something different than you're doing today. Literally. So you have got to get up tomorrow and have this unexpected path you start taking. Make different decisions, do different things, live outside the expectations you have for your life, expectations you have for your daily operations, the expectations that other people hold for you. Live outside of them. I mean, ridiculously outside of them. Because the truth of the matter is, you quite possibly have less time on this earth than you have had up to now. I'm 31 years old, and for me, there's a possibility that I will pass in less time than I've already been on this planet. The time is ticking, and that went by quick. Think about that. If you don't start turning things around, who knows if, God forbid, something happens to you 60 minutes from now. We don't know how much time we have. Hopefully it's gonna be 60, 70 years from now, but we just don't know. So the truth of the matter is, you gotta start switching things around, because if you don't take a step right now today, use the steps I gave you to start changing the direction for your life to be a great, great difference, you will probably end up being like so many other people in this world that bury their casket full of potential. My name is Anthony Trucks, and I thank you for watching this video. It was heavily on my heart because it's something that I want to speak life in other people. I am dying. We all are. We don't know how long we have left to live. And for me, I'm going to make sure that when I leave this planet, I've given something back to the people and the population of the world greater than was given to me. Because the only way the world grows and prospers, it's my vision, my goal, my dream, and I want you to be part of it. If you want anything more information about me or what I do, please feel free to go to anthonytrucks.com and follow me on my social media sites and share this video. Somebody needs to hear the message. I don't know who. There's a great possibility that you don't know who, but someone right now could be in a situation where they no longer want to be on this planet, or they're wasting the great opportunities they have in life and they need this message to help them. And I can't reach them, but you can. So again, I want to thank you for your time. Remember that when things get tough and the world is kind of caving down on you, or if everything's great, no matter what it is, you can always remember you can trust your hustle to live an unexpected life.